Welcome to the Cold Case Frozen Tundra Story Map. In this brief video, we'll take a deep dive into the key individuals, sites, and details of the disappearance of Starkey Swenson in August 13, 1983. And that's where we begin, in Neenah, Wisconsin. On August 13, 1983, Starkey Swenson disappeared around 8:30 p.m. when he left his Neenah, Wisconsin home on his bicycle. While it was not unusual for Starkey to leave in the evening on his bike, his family becomes alarmed when he had not returned home by midnight. Starkey, they report, is always home by 11 p.m. at the latest. Starkey Swenson was never seen again.
August 15, 1983, the Shattuck Middle School in Neenah, Wisconsin. Shortly after Starkey Swenson's disappearance, Shattuck Junior High School, now the Shattuck Middle School's janitor, Carl Staffold, found parts of a broken bicycle in a grassy alcove at the school. Starkey Swenson's disappearance has not yet been reported to police or covered in local news. Carl Staffold throws the bike parts away in a dumpster. Later, after hearing reports that Starkey was last seen on his bicycle, Staffold contacts police on September 11, 1983, and shows them the site. They find a long gouge in the pavement, which continues into the grass and ends in a broken tree.
Late August 1983, O'Hare International Airport, Chicago. In the late stages of summer 1983, a local businessman in Neenah reports to the police that he believes he saw Starkey Swenson around the time of his disappearance. The man tells investigators that he saw Swenson boarding a Republic Airlines flight at O'Hare Airport, Chicago. Investigators reach out to Republic Airlines and they comb through the passenger logs. Swenson's name is not present. Individuals working in the area are unable to confirm seeing Starkey around that time when shown a photo of Swenson.
October 1983 in Appleton, Wisconsin. In October of 1983, seemingly out of nowhere, the police execute a search warrant on John C. Andrews, who is living in nearby Appleton, Wisconsin. It's unclear what evidence led investigators to seek a warrant and receive approval for the search, but they clearly had received some information of interest. Police search and impound John Andrews' vehicle, a 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, at the state crime lab. We later learned that nothing was found in the vehicle.
November 30, 1984, Mukwonago, Wisconsin. On November 30th, 1984, Winnebago County investigators are alerted that unidentified remains have been found in Mukwonago, Wisconsin, which, after an artist's sketch is produced, are said to show similarities to Starkey Swenson. After conducting a scientific review of the remains, there is enough conflicting evidence between Swenson's characteristics and those of the skeletal remains to confirm that this is not Starkey Swenson's body. Also of note, we have looked at these pictures as you're now seeing, and it's really hard to point out any resemblance.
September 1993, Neenah, Wisconsin. In September 1993, over a decade since Starkey Swenson first went missing, John C. Andrews is arrested and charged with Starkey Swenson's murder. Just a month prior, investigators had reported that the case was stalled with almost no new leads. Andrews' arrest comes as a shock to many.
Let's take a look at one of the key witnesses, Suzanne Eggert. Suzanne Eggert was the girlfriend of John C. Andrews at the time Starkey Swenson went missing. After nearly a decade of silence, she revealed details of the night Swenson disappeared to investigators in September 1993. She had been keeping these secrets, she said, out of fear of retaliation from John Andrews. Suzanne tells investigators her knowledge of why John Andrews had motive for the murder. She also tells police she was near the scene of the crime as it occurred and overheard the events. Eggert's story is the break in the case that led to Andrews' arrest.
Neenah, Wisconsin, 1993. Claire Andrews is the ex-wife of John C. Andrews. She was involved in a long-term affair with Starkey Swenson, beginning before she even met John Andrews, and continuing during her short-lived marriage to John, and then extending until the night of Starkey's disappearance. On the day Swenson disappeared, Claire told the court she was at her home with John Andrews. She continued sleeping with John despite their divorce. On that same day, Claire was also expecting a visit from Starkey Swenson, but he never came. Claire's house is directly across the street from Shattuck Junior High School and very close to the important grassy alcove.
Also 1993 and Neenah, Wisconsin. Key witness Lois Swenson. Lois Swenson was Starkey's wife for 44 years. In court, Lois shares that their marriage was not without its turmoil and that she had been aware that Starkey was having an affair with Claire Andrews for years before he disappeared.
Let's take a look at one of the key sites in this case, which is Shattuck Junior High School. The Shattuck Junior High School is located directly across the street from the home of Claire Andrews. On the night of Starkey Swenson's disappearance, John Andrews was at Claire's house. Claire told the court that she was also expecting a visit from Starkey Swenson that night, but he never arrives. Suzanne Eggert told investigators she overheard an altercation involving John Andrews and another man just out of sight in the grassy alcove at the school on the night of Starkey's disappearance. The alcove today is covered by a walkway. Suzanne reportedly hears the sound of a car possibly running something or someone over. She also tells the court she hears John Andrews say, "There, now you're dead."
Another key site is located in Omro, Wisconsin, about 25 minutes away. It's the Drop Zone Bar. John Andrews tells investigators that he could not have murdered Starkey Swenson on the night of August 13th, 1983, because after leaving Claire's home in Neenah, he headed to the Drop Zone Bar in Omro. Strangely, the Drop Zone Bar is about 25 minutes outside Neenah. It's on the outskirts of a rural town with no attractions to speak of, and is in the opposite direction from Neenah as Andrews' home at the time in Appleton. This isn't proof of anything, but it is strange, especially considering both Neenah and Appleton had a number of bars. The Drop Zone Bar is no longer in existence.